Good evening, guys. Thank you for joining the Foul Player, and you stepped into the Foul Play land. I'm making this video regarding the reports of Dillian Whyte failing his drug test prior to the Oscar Rivas fight. It was reported that he failed this test, or the test was administered on the 17th of July. He failed his, well, usually what happens is that they give two samples, or two different vials of piss, if you will. And one is an A sample, one being the B sample. But it's not like you urinate once and then wait a few minutes and urinate again. And that's the first one would be A, the first one would be B. From the drug test that I've taken in the past, I'm familiar with drug tests from my time in the military and from certain jobs that I held, but mostly from the military, because the people that administer the drug test are usually superiors. But some superiors you talk to in regular conversations, like it's not like God or anything. Like they're just regular motherfuckers that you work with. So from what I do know, like they usually take two vials of your urine, and if one of them tests or sees the presence of something that's not supposed to be there, they go ahead and test your second vial of urine, or i.e. your B sample. And that's mostly done in sports. From what I do know, in the military, there was tons of urine samples that would have to be tested at the same time, all in one facility. And this was done in when I was in the military, at a place that was like 2.5 hours away. They would have to go through tons of people's sample to come back with a result 2 days later. With these boxing tests that are done, I'm pretty sure that the results come back much quicker. And what's shady about this instance with Dillian Whyte is that the test was administered, or I believe that he actually pissed hot, or they knew that he was had something in his system on the 17th, and the fight I think took place on the 20th or the 21st. So if they knew that something was in his system on the 17th, then they probably at the very latest could have had his second sample tested and run through by the 18th. If you have a fight coming up, like it's not like you have to run a gamut of other tests from other people, and then Dillian Whyte is in the back of the line. I mean, if there's a test that you believe is suspicious, or that you detected something within that urine, you would go ahead and test that B sample immediately, particularly when there's a fight coming up in a few days. I think this is a little bit shady. I think Rivas has grounds to stand on, like to sue whoever administered this test. I think it was done by UCAD. I'm not sure if the WBC in this case let UCAD administer the test for them, being that UCAD is based out of the UK, and this fight was happening in the UK. I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of the details are coming out, and it just seems funky. A lot of stuff, I'm finding out as it goes, and when I sit back and think about it, I'm like, damn, this is like a little bit fucked up. That's why I didn't want to make a video in the immediate sense, and plus I was listening to other people's shit. Other people inspire me, but I don't know. It's very funky. I was under the impression, for some reason, like I think it was I was mingling or like mixing Dillian Whyte's story with Big Baby Miller's story, but I was under the impression that Dillian Whyte tested positive for a banned substance while he was kickboxing. But I don't think Dillian Whyte kickboxed. Like fucking I think he actually did test for a banned substance in 2012, and I know he was not boxing for a while. I think he protested that, and then they allowed him to come back like in 2014. So this is his second failed test in boxing. And I hope people take or the powers that be take a hard line with this. And I also think that the fans should take a hard line with this too. I think like right now, a lot of these people that were, you could say, Wilder haters, or they're kind of like covering this in a sense like, oh, well, just dumb mistake, or let's see what happens with the B sample. But when we recently had a instance or a fake report of Marcellus Wilder failing a drug test, a lot of these same people were, fucking hollering from the rooftops and killing what's essentially a boxer who's like doesn't really factor in the boxing world in Marcellus Wilder. The only reason that we know of Marcellus Wilder is because of who his brother is in Deontay Wilder. So I mean, like, they made a big commotion when they thought that Marcellus Wilder failed the drug test, but they're kind of like covering this in a sense as if it was just a stupid mistake, or, well, he messed up. Like, I don't think they would give that treatment to a Deontay Wilder if he was presented with the same instances, or if he was even suspected of failing a drug test. I can't stand Dillian Whyte. I think he's attempted to finagle his way into getting a mandatory shot, all while refusing to take on fights that the WBC ordered, and getting paid along the way, like, taking fights that would pay him more, and avoiding Luis Ortiz along the way. Honestly, I'm not saying that he's avoiding the whole world, but he was avoiding Luis Ortiz like outright, and this has been going on for years already. So I mean, I'm glad this happened to him, man. Like, I'm not one of those people, oh, I don't want to see a boxer, like, nah. I mean, I don't want to see a boxer get hurt. I don't want to see a boxer broke. But Dillian Whyte, to me, is a little bit of a piece of shit. Like, I mean, he was barking up the Wilder tree for a while. He was allowing himself to be a buffer between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And the whole Barry Hearn making that slave trader remark, or whatever the fuck he said regarding slaves, and Dillian Whyte having a good chuckle at those comments. I mean, fuck Dillian Whyte. So that's all. Like, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you could, give it a little like and fucking subscribe. I don't know what the fuck to say. And check out my man Michael Johnson, Boxing Talk and More, where I go live with him here and there. And check out my man Los Dawkins, the Pimpins channel. With that, peace. I'm out.